Welcome, graduates. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Big up yourself. Hello, Chanel. Hi, Lovelace. Big up Laurentius in the house. Hey, Dawn. Blessed Sunday to each and every one. Remember to tap the like button as you come in. Thank you for that. Let me just pin that comment. Big up on a nice, clean cells. Good afternoon, Norma. Good afternoon, Vanessa. Good evening, Vanessa. Yes, big up yourself, Marcia. How are you doing? Wow. Well, I promised you that I was going to be coming live, and that is exactly what I have done. Okay. I think this one definitely deserves me coming out tonight. Have you seen the topic? Can you be mixing and still claim to be a diplomat is the question that I am asking. I am certain by now you have seen some of the recent activities on social media. And for the purpose of this live, we are going to keep it as anonymous as possible with regards to the comments. We will stick to the names given in the live. Do not call anybody's name blatantly. Any name called in the chat will be removed by the moderators, okay? This is how we protect our platform and also how we ensure that there is no slander or libel attached to the content. So please be responsible in this discussion. All right. All right. Okay, let me make sure, say, me not miss out anybody. Good evening, Janet. Thank you for coming on. I'm just laying here in bed. Okay, no problem, Janet. It's good to see you. Big up yourself, Whoopi. Hey, Flavia. Blessed Sunday. Now, for the majority of this live, you're going to hear my voice. I want to speak openly. I don't want to be focusing on anything else but my thoughts, okay? But what a display we have seen. Lady with the alphabets. What a display we have seen. We're going to go in eights. Right. Now, I don't know about you. Big up yourself, Madam Amadotes. Hi, Linda. Hi, Drea. I don't know about you guys, but I have come to the point of a slight frustration because what I'm seeing doesn't make any sense to me at all. It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. At least what I saw. And I had to really think about these people. I had to really reflect on it because I did not want to come out here and necessarily start a tirade against an individual. I don't want to do that. I want to really try to put myself in somebody else's shoes to understand where they're coming from, why they're doing what they're doing, to try to gain some rationale behind the behavior. You understand me? And every time I tried to do that, I came up against some conflict because something just did not sit right in my soul. Lady with the alphabets. Lady with the alphabet. Me really I try to understand where you're depend. Me really I try to understand your approach. I'm trying to gather the psychology behind your behavior. And I am still coming up at a loss. Is it that you are seeking to surround yourself with people whom you think will come to your defense in the moment of a social media onslaught, in the face of cyberbullying? Are you trying to surround yourself with characters whom you consider to be fearless, whom you consider to be strong enough to roll out should anything go left? Me just a try to understand. Because in all things, no matter how you execute some degree of respect, some degree of open-mindedness, there has to be discernment. And by discernment, it means that you're looking at the characters that you are interacting with, knowing their full history, or at least the history presented on social media, and knowing exactly where to go and where not to go. It does not mean that you would not be respectful should you ever encounter such characters in person. But by entertaining certain people, certain mentalities on your social media space, what you're in fact doing is you are creating an atmosphere where such people can feel comfortable enough to thrive. And I don't understand why the power of discernment is not having an impact on your will. I am very, very concerned about how it is that you are expecting other people to view you as simply unbiased, or I don't know, well, you did say that you can't be unbiased, but as simply not being on any side. None of us are out here trying to belong to any camp, but you know what? There is right and there is wrong. There is right and there is wrong. There is right behavior and there is wrong behavior. And it's not about us being the judge, jury, and executioner, you know. It's about us recognizing when certain behaviors put other people in positions of vulnerability, when certain behaviors target innocent people, where certain behaviors grossly criticize and traumatize an individual who is not counteracting. When you see such behavior, surely your morality, something in your insides, should tell you that such behavior is deplorable, unacceptable, and should not be facilitated, be it that you are the topic or not. That you cannot separate the history of such people from personal entanglements with them. That even when you bring them to your space, they are going to be reminiscent of all of the corruptive behavior that is evidenced across social media to date. And you cannot separate the two. So what I am asking, lady with the alphabet, what are you really trying to achieve? Now, before I came out and I referred to you as a fencer, and you replied, I heard you. And you said, be it that I may consider it fencing, you are an expert at such. And I am glad you wholeheartedly accepted that you are an expert at such. But I do hope you held the gist of what it is that I was trying to say. When you are fencing between parties of polar opposite opinions and belief systems, you are trying to act as though you are an element of neutrality or diplomacy. But in diplomacy, you are in fact creating chaos. The mere fact that your involvement to begin with started an entire derailment of the group, shows that there is chaos behind your actions. Not that you're intending it to be, but it has resulted in such. I am really trying to understand, what is the purpose of this stance? If you are, as you say, somebody who is your brother and sister's keepers, your brothers and sisters keepers, meaning that you are out here to empower and to educate, do you think that by being empowering, you have to say that you will accept anybody, anyhow, anywhere? Do you think that by being empowering, it means that you have to be on every and everybody's side? Don't you think that by empowering those who are victimizing others, you are disempowering the victims? Or is it that you don't see them as victims? Because there is no way under God's heavens I could see a situation where I am in some kind of entanglement with the parties that you facilitated on your platform. It would never happen. Because in my wisdom, I see people who can't even control what's happening in their own household, and I'm using household metaphorically, much less to maintain any kind of external relationships which may bring friction to their group. In fact, I would know that my very presence would be some type of conflict of interest. Remember, your modus operandi is to remain neutral. So if you are remaining neutral, I am certain you can look back and say that you have had far more conversations, discussions with a particular group of people who are targeting one woman than you have had with that one woman. I bet you couldn't tell me otherwise. The evidence is right there. I do not understand where you are coming from. And I struggle to grasp the point of it. You are saying that you have nothing against that particular female that is the baker. But yet you place a statement that could easily be thrown at the person because you know the history of the individual when it comes to her ability to fulfill certain orders. It has been said before. It has been said before. It is not strange. So when you make those kind of statements that you claim you're throwing shade, you never call no name. You never say who is what. You are in your intelligence, in your wisdom, should certainly have known that it's going to connect with that baker. It's going to connect. The mere fact that you were not discussing who said what, who did what, who was refunded what, blah, 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 doesn't matter. In your neutrality, in your not being on anybody's side, in you not being involved, why is there a discussion even taking place? You know what you know. Why is there a need to justify anything with such people? It doesn't make any sense to me. If I go out and I say what I have to say, even if I am throwing shade, even if I'm throwing the whole blasted forest, you think that I need to defend that to anybody? I know exactly who I'm throwing the shade for and who I wanted to connect with. And if it lit them and connect with them, and them I make nice, make them make nice because they know it applies. But I'm not going to put myself in a position to come out and justify my shading unless it connected the wrong person. But you know, and we know, that it connected to the right person. It's just that your name was being tarnished by being attached to somebody else. But so what? I don't really see the point of defending such. And then this whole investigation about whether or not you're a hypocrite, whether or not you said something that you didn't say, getting certain people to call certain people whose very ethics of truth is being questioned. Certain people whom we know have created, fabricated stories in the past. And I can give you so many examples of fabrication. The very people who have invented things, who've acted like pathological liars in many cases. Remember, you know, all I said that one in a wheelchair when she's in a no blasted wheelchair. You're getting such people to come out to justify you? Then this wise? You who are supposed to be that much more of a different standard and different level, out here as one of the educated ones, and you think you needed to justify yourself to these people. I don't understand where you're coming from. And I've said it a million times. There are certain things with you that I can get. But then there are certain things with you that there's just a big question sign about your intentions. You see, if I was hearing things like up the live, share the live over YouTube, blah, 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 I'd say, okay, this is about generating content, right? This is about money. But you've made it clear that you don't need such, even though you now have your YouTube channel going. You've made it clear that you don't need such. You don't need it. So what's your intention really? Imagine you created a scenario where lady with a number was able to call in and they wanted to express to you, out of protection for you, how they felt. They were advising you not to trust certain people. They made certain accusations which were unfounded in your eyes. And then you facilitated the other person to call in. Fair enough, the other person has a right to counteract the fact that they were accused of something that they are innocent of. But subsequently, the barrage of bad words that came out of that person's mouth, you want them once, you want them twice, you want them 3 times, you want them 4 times. Me, I wonder how much one in so. Directed towards lady with the number. And that looked so bad. Graduates, tell me if me alone did say that looked bad, because that looked so bad. It looked so bad. That person blatantly showed you they did not respect your space or your authority or the fact that this was your platform. They never respect you. Them feel like so them could have cussed any clot in your presence. Because them things say you and them a combo. You understand? But then that lady with the number was made to look so bad. Pure bad what she get tell. That you had to then come back and do damage control and tell me you wasn't doing that. You was doing that. You had to come back and do Damage control. Talk about how much she was great when it came to your daughter. Talk about how wonderful she was. Talk about how great she was. Talk about the fact that, you know, you are in her corner. Blah, 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 blah. Damage control. We are not idiots. But you are mixing with all sorts, then claiming that you are neutral. But we are not seeing a balance of whom it is that you are mixing with. That is the problem. We are seeing that you are mixing more with people who release nothing but diatribe on the internet on a day-to-day basis to tear down one woman, and is more and more presence than people here get on your page. Or when you feel like that, look away. You not think so that look away? It look away. Because it's not balanced. It's not balanced at all. It would have different if, for example, you had this person come on, then you had another set of people from a different place come on, and you had another set of people from a different set of place come on. But then people are so familiar. So till all the builder want him, right? Actually felt the need to call you from a personal engagement. He felt so inclined that as a grown man, he had to come insert himself into Bangarang on your platform, and you never run him, and you never say, listen, sir, please go and enjoy your event. You can watch the live again. You can watch the dead. There is no need. You had already proven the points that you did not say what was said, even though that in itself did not need to happen at all. Because the people with the spirit of discernment and the knowledge of right and wrong will know, say, that particular baker is known for creating scenarios to sell our products. I'm not the first. It's not the first. I do not understand why you felt the need to defend yourself against people of shady character. That is what I don't get. This is the part that confuses me. And then you have the audacity to say you like who you like and you will engage with who you want to engage with. Nobody's stopping you. But the question is, what in God's name is there to like? I'm confused. What is there to like? I can only say the word I like you if I personally have some kind of connection with you. I can say I like you if there are certain things that you do that I respect. If I can say I like you, if there is something about you that draws me to you, that's when I will use the word I like you. And it's so interesting how you're using your language of diplomacy quite tactfully, in that you're not saying who you like, you know. You say, I like who I like, but you're not saying who you like. You're not saying it, you know, because then anybody can interpret it anyhow. Anyway. Any way they want to interpret it, they interpret it. If you think, say, I like this person over that side, then yes, and then me mean. If you think I like that person over there, then yes, and that me mean. Chaotic diplomacy, where people are left unsure. It was ridiculous watching you pussyfoot around the builder guy. Because that's what you were doing. If I've offended you, I'm sorry. When you said these people. Because you're being so considerate of such feelings. But yet, there is no challenge about their consideration of other feelings. I'm not saying that you can't be considerate about their feelings, but in the same breath, the display that we have seen on social media shows that they have no sensitivity at all towards the feelings of others whom they target. But yet you take yourself away from that because for them program, they run things or they run things. That part I agree with. I have nothing to say about their program. They can do whatever they want to do on their own social media space. But if you enter my classroom, I am going to definitely confront you with your demons, the way you confront others. How you veer around the topic. It's only about me. I don't want to hear, no, I don't want to hear about that. Don't say that name. Don't bring that. Just about what's happening with me. Okay. And then you say that bloggers, you know, we're too small time, us diaspora bloggers. I'm sorry. But human relationships within the diaspora is also a thing. Whether you like it or not, we bloggers are going to blog about it. And we don't need to replay your stuff either to discuss it. It impacts on us because it's in our culture, it's in our space, it's on our timeline, it's in the matrix, and it's definitely in the algorithms that we watch on a day-to-day basis. So people need the avenue to discuss. Digging into other cultures is optional. This is priority. Yeah, like it or lump it. Right, let me look at some comments before I carry on. The disrespect was much. Did she really want to stop her from swearing, or was it just a show? Good question. They're all communicating behind the scenes. People have to see a clear line where a person stands. Thank you. What did you have for dinner today? I had lamb chops, rice and peas, macaroni pie, Veronica, and steamed vegetables. Lady with the alphabet don't like the lady with the big platform. Is follow what she wants. Well, I have no evidence of whether or not she likes her, but I have doubts, Pam. They were comfortable because they're having phone conversations with each other. So no boundaries or respect. Big and mixy. I hear that, Kerry. I confused too. Fencing. There you go, Rochelle. She was handing them with kids' gloves. Absolutely. When HTK refers to the lady with the number, it isn't referring to the big platform holder. No, it is not. No, Pam. When I refer to lady with a number, it is not the lady with the big platform. It is not 33 times 3. You're going to have to do your little bit of code cracking right there. Right? A blessed Sunday to you, Vivian, and big up yourself, Talk Truth UK. Good evening, Sharona. How did she walk in the middle of the cake war? She too mixed up. I find her to be very mixed up, acting like goody two shoes. Norma, I don't know anything about the cake war thing. I believe she said something like everybody must support everybody that's making cakes, and really there's nothing wrong with that comment. I've got no issue with that. People support who they want to support. If they want to buy cakes from the baker over there, they can buy cakes from there. If they want to buy cakes from, you know, the top truth people over there, they do that. It is irrelevant to us who buys cake from where. I don't see why the advice even needed to be given in the first place. You understand? But that's the thing. As I said, when you try to be too much of a diplomat and nobody knows where you stand in life, where your morality lies, it begs the question about what your intentions are. It makes it so difficult to find you a trustworthy individual. And I'm not saying that she doesn't bring added value to the internet. Some of the topics that she discusses are brilliant. Like, I really enjoyed the discussion around the fact that some people are constantly blaming women when it comes to being homewreckers. And speaking of which, that said baker that she felt she needed to defend herself with is the one who pulled out her past and started speaking about the fact that she was involved with a married man before and she's a homewrecker. And she counteracted that, subtly so, by stating that not all the time it's the women. What about the men's responsibility, especially if the man is the married one? So that was a great discussion. It was very valid. So those things are wonderful, but there is this side that every time it comes to the fore, I question her wisdom. I question whether or not such content is valid in itself. Because the person behind it is presenting in such a duplicitous manner that it is hard to tell if you're coming or going, for right and wrong, not necessarily for camp and camp. I could not care less what camp. I am talking about evidenced behavior. Evidenced behavior. There is this saying, a friend of my enemy is not my friend. That's that saying. I do not understand how it is that you can claim to say that you hold somebody in such high esteem and you are so comfortable meandering through such individuals with such intentions. And like I've always said, I have nothing to say about their intentions. They can do what they want to do. Say what they want to say. It's their space. If they want to challenge charities, let them challenge till the cows come home. Fine by me. I couldn't care less. But to say that I'm going to invite you in my parlor, sit you down and hand you a cup of tea and we cross legs and have a chit chat, when I know that your behavior and the things that you're doing is causing great discomfort and disrespect towards somebody that I hold in high esteem, that won't happen. It's not to say that I can't discuss things that are around you as a topic in my professional space. I can do that. But I'm not going to invite you into my parlor. And by into my parlor, I'm using that symbolically to mean into my personal space. My personal space can include my phone line to my ear after hours when I'm in bed. It's not going to happen. When you see a group of people who they are so busy now trying to tidy up their parameters because of fractured memberships here, there, and everywhere. People carrying feelings here, there, and everywhere. People are released information here, there, and everywhere. How are you going to get yourself into that kind of volatile climate, claiming that you are on no side? It don't make no sense. That person is just walking around social media looking defender. Confused, Laura, you're gonna have to kind of try and think. Yes, Elizabeth, correct. That's the person. But she said she was with a married man, but she made it look is the past, but she's still with the married man. So what she said, it doesn't make any sense. Ratted. Bam! Bam, what you know? Pam, what are you talking about? Pam, I'm not going to go there with you tonight. You know, I'm not going to go there with you. I'm not going to go there with you tonight at all. Let me tell you something. Yes? Let me tell you something. In Jamaica, we have the saying, don't it? See me and come live with me at two different something. See me and come live with me at two different something. Right? You can see somebody and they can have all the airs and graces of the past queen. But then when you live with them live like dirty animals, right? People are not necessarily going to open up their chest on social media and show you exactly who they are. But unfortunately, or fortunately, your genuine self will have it will have no qualms but to slip out here and there, right? Here and there. And the thing is that sometimes as social media personalities, no matter how much we tell you guys who we are, you guys don't want to believe it because you have a certain image about us in your minds, right? Now, I do not know if Lady with the Alphabet always came out to say that she was prim and proper. because I really have not been taking her in for as long as probably some of you have. I don't know if she created that image of herself, but I do know that she has given certain advice that would indicate or imply that she is above certain standards of behavior. That I know. But I don't know if in her past, when she just started out on social media, if she fully admitted to having illicit affairs. I don't know. Or continuing to do so. I have no idea. Right? But what I'm going to say is this. Where that part is concerned, I have no judgment of her. I think her argument that she presented later is sound. These men cannot be taken unless they want to be taken, right? And they equally have, they don't equally, they have more so of a responsibility when it comes to adhering to their marital vows than a so-called Delilah who comes and presents temptation to such man, right? So let me just leave that as is. If the woman have her past or her present or her current, I don't business with that part of her at all. I am talking particularly about the way the behaviors are coming across to us as an audience, right? This act of diplomacy, it will not work in her favor. It cannot work in her favor. Because you cannot be mixing with all sorts, looking as though you do not stand for something will imply that you lay down for everything. Look at how disrespectful that character was on your page. And no matter how you kept saying, Lord, me no want hear no bad word, no swearing, this and that, the person kept doing it. Even when you put them off speaker, we could still hear the barrage of cloth and fabric that was flying out. You understand? And I'm like, how did this person feel so comfortable to do that? As much as there are certain things that Lady with the Alphabet does that I can never agree with, and I won't agree with. Should the situation ever happen where we are in the same space and we're having a conversation, I would never be disrespectful. Not so. Even if I tell her my mind, I will not be disrespectful and start telling her a kind of bad word. You understand? So it really is about, let me see that comment, you know. Let me see this. Yeah, and I don't think her personal life should be for discussion. That's right. I really couldn't care less about her personal life. Honestly, I don't care. Tori, come to Bob. That's she's an educated ringless delight. Jesus. Let me tell you something. There's a whole heap of educated and uneducated ringless Delilah. Right? There are Delilahs everywhere. Yes, that is neither here nor there, people. Come on, let's not get sidetracked, right? All I'm gonna say is this: you cannot be mixing with everybody. And let me say something. No, I wanted to address this, you know. Let me not forget to address this. Build a man. You know, say it look bad for a man to be so caught up in a bangarang on a day-to-day basis. You know, say as a man amongst women, as a thorn amongst the roses, really and truly, you should be some kind of character of level-headedness and logic. Because remember, you know, whether we like it or not, you know, we always have this argument about genders. But scientifically, men's brains are wired differently from women, okay? And where it comes to logic, that's why when you have a little boy, you will notice that a little boy will sit down with his toys, his cars, and he will start putting them all in a line. A perfect line. Most all little boys do that. Little girls don't do that. They have their little dolls, it's thrown left, right, and center. But boys, they will line up their toys like this. Because the male brain has got a larger proportion working when it comes to logic and calculation. So when you have a girl that's really good at calculation, she's got a gift. Fact. So here is this builder man amongst these women. And you, sir, leave your personal engagement to call in on a platform to engage in a so, to engage in a lion Tory, cas. Let me really want to ask, your wife rate you? As a God, your wife rate you? Is that rateable? Women on my live. What you would have call a man like that? Don't be too disrespectful now, no swearing. But what you would have really call a man like that? Imagine you and your partner, they are one engagement, right? An event. And this man your left front side of you. Go call one woman in a one island. They have conversation about so and baga. What you would have call a man like that? And I want him to be very honest. Man too. Man too. No masculine man does that. You are so right. You're not tired for look embarrassing on the internet. No, seriously, as a judge, as a man, me not talk about the rest of the gang, you know, because the whole of them are woman. And we kind of expect the laba and the chatty in for come from a woman. But you, sir, what you are doing this so? And your wife tolerates you picking up the phone and calling next woman in an island for have chat about so and baga and she no flip by you. As the world turns, this must be the twilight zone. I can't be nothing else the backside. All right, so the whole I name them the CM so. No real man not do that. First of all, my husband could never be caught up on social media. Exactly, Linda. Let me tell you something. You think you see when I'm on live, me tell my husband stay far. Don't come in here, turn downstairs or in our next room. I don't want you to hear me. And do not come on my live and say nothing if you are listening. Because that part of my life now have nothing to do with my marriage. And I don't want my husband knowing all of these 10 stories in a one. It not have nothing to do with him. And him don't ask me neither. Him not interested. Other than how did the life go? It went well or it didn't go well. That is all I'm interested in. Nothing else. Nothing else. I don't care about her personal relationship, just her hypocritical behavior on social media. I thought she was different, only to find out she's just a false pretender, mixed up big man. All right. Now, Kerry, this is your personal opinion, but I can understand how people would think like you, how you would think like this, because the behavior that we are seeing is not evidencing anything else. That is the only reason why I would say that your opinion is validated, okay? Because God knows, as a God, I am not looking to see this, but it keeps presenting itself. I am not seeking and finding, but it keeps presenting itself, right? We long get over the fact that there are certain people on social media who are speaky spokey. Me know say me are one of them. Lady with the alphabet are one of them. Them say the baker over so are one of them. We speaky spokey. That's irrelevant though. It's really about what lies beneath. What lies beneath. So even when we drop the speaky spokey, our true selves will always manifest in some way or the other. As time progresses, you will see that there are other parts to every personality that you interact with on social media that is expected. Take, for example, that young man, wait, name again, Lord, Urian, right? Take, for example, Urian. Now, when Urian first started doing his YouTube channel, Urian did stiff like a starched shirt, right? He's stiff. When he attack, he sound like he have hot potato in his mouth. Him not really express himself, and over time, watch the change. Get comfortable in front of the camera, body language, shoulders open up, face lift up to the camera more, lips are relaxed, quite happy to be himself, express himself, evolution and involvement. And as such time happens, you start to see layers peel away and you get to know the real person. Everybody, including myself. I can't speak for myself, but you guys can. You guys can say, boy, K, when you first came out on social media, you were this and you were that. And as time go on, we say a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You start to see the cracks, you start to see the flaws. But there are some cracks and some flaws that are human, as in they are normal cracks, normal flaws. But then there are some that shows that there's a little bit more than a crack. Okay, a little bit more than a crack. It's more like a split in personality. And when you see a split in personality, which is different from, oh, that's just a flaw, a split in personality where you are seeing different sides that even seem as though they don't join together. They're two opposite things going on. That's when people will start to question your integrity. That's when people will start to question whether or not you are trustworthy. That's when people are going to question your intentions, your morality, and you will come under the microscope and under fire because people are realizing that you sold them a product that isn't real, right? It is different from saying, okay, this is the product, but the product may not be perfect all the time. It is different. Exactly. Allow people to grow. That's it. Landslide. Yeah, I was trying to come up with the right word. I meant to splits. I wonder if our association with those type of persons, first with the potter, and we know the others, is an effort to convert or enlighten them to change to a positive perspective. Happy Sunday, chocolate and vanilla, big up yourself. It could be that, know your English grammar, it could be that. But if that is the case, make your intention clear. There is nothing wrong with declaring that, listen, guys, I am always going to, even when they come on the live, I am always going to be speaking to you guys about stopping with the social media tearing down of that one lady. I'm always going to be speaking to you guys and counseling you guys about thinking of different ways of handling your temper. I'm always going to, make it clear to your supporters, to your audience, what your intentions are. There's nothing wrong with that. You see, if we saw that, then we'd say, okay, she's in psychologist mode. She's in psychologist mode. But then when we hear other things being said on the wayside because of this mixing, the fact that her daughter's picture was sent to a blogger, right? Well, I don't know if it's a fact, but the allegation that the daughter's picture was sent to a blogger and the daughter's picture was in a compromised condition, meaning that she wasn't fully clothed or whatever, sent to a male blogger, right, is so questionable in itself. I don't know if this is true, but there should be no kind of communication going on with such persons that such a twisting of what could be the truth takes place in the first place. By having your boundaries clear, this is how people understand the difference between right and wrong, right? Blurred boundaries leave room for error and confusion and chaos. Conflicts of interest cannot align with being neutral. You do have a conflict of interest, regardless of whether or not you want to accept it. When you are turning up at such persons to support them through a funeral, you are showing an allegiance and a support. So when you then turn around and you are mixing with these individuals who rip her apart on a day-to-day basis, you are showing your audience a conflict of interest, and you can't go around that. If you are on nobody's side, go to nothing. Go to nothing. Simply avoid I'm not here. I am not there. I am just here talking about relationships, raising your children, etc., etc. That is neutrality. That is staying out of it. But by being a diplomat, and as in the case of governmental diplomats, you have to dip in and out with enemy lines. You have to go and speak to opposing sides and opposing parties. You have to be the problem solver. The one person who will not be shot in a war. But as you position yourself as such, there is always going to be room for doubts about your intentions, what your plans are, what's your reasoning behind your actions. You continue to make people feel comfortable in your social media space who make it their day-to-day job to rip down somebody that you claim you hold in high esteem. And you facilitate them without directly challenging them in that said space. Now, I don't know if that's happening off air or on the phone. That's irrelevant because I don't assess things like that. I deal with what's presented on social media. And I'm saying on social media, the picture, be it a partial picture of what's happening or a full picture of what's happening, gives the impression that your behaviors are hypocritical and lacks wisdom. Right, let's see if I'm missing any of the comments. Let me go back up. Right. I'm trying to figure out what is it they are trying to ascertain from Lady with the Alphabet? What she have that they want and why they rely on her? Is it because she behaved like she's scholarly? Rochelle, that's a Rochelle, that is a very good question, because we all know that these people are very calculated with who they communicate with and why. It has to serve a greater purpose. And their greater purpose is always to tear down this one woman. That is their sole intention on social media. It's nothing else, right? And it does make you wonder, what do you want from Lady with the Alphabet while you're here? Why are you here? Why would you choose to step out of your own space to go and interact with somebody who just weeks or months ago was in the very woman's presence? What are you trying to find out? Likewise, the baker lady over there said that she has, definite evidence of the fact that this lady was trying to mess with the legal students, the law students, that this lady went into this law student's inbox pretending to be a donor and trying to get information from the girl. So why expose yourself to such risk? I mean, surely, as somebody who is supposed to be more educated and supposed to be so much more lettered, because education and intelligence is two different things, but I'm saying it should translate to intelligence. Surely at this point, you should be doing your assessment in terms of the impact on who you are, your brand, your image on social media, to determine whether or not it makes sense to expose such on your platform space. Is this a numbers thing? Is this a way to grow attention towards your YouTube platform? What is it exactly? Because to me, there is no integrity behind it all. I see none. No matter how much you try to paint it as, I am not on anybody's side, I am not in anybody's camp, then you go, I like who I like. So contradictory. So contradictory. Is it that you're not on anybody's side? Or is it that you like who you like? Which is it? Because you can't be both. And when you explain bias, by the way, that wasn't correct. We all have personal biases. That part was correct. But when you're biased, it does not mean that you don't call out somebody who you like when they do something wrong. That's not what bias is. That's what prejudice is. That's what being prejudiced in terms of not wanting to show the truth towards that person because you don't want to hurt that person. So you are basically saying that they didn't do anything wrong, even when they did something wrong. That's much more than bias. You're showing such strong prejudices against anything negative that that person may have done, even if it's true. But if you're biased, you still can say you were wrong when you did X and when you did Y. You were wrong. I have always said I am biased towards 33 times 3 because I respect the things that she does. But you have heard me time and time again on this platform speak out when I see 33 times 3 do something that I don't like or I don't respect. I am going to say it, but I'm going to say it for her advantage so she can grow from it. Not to tear her down and to tarnish her image, but to let her know what her truth is, because sometimes it takes an outside party to make you realize that what so many people closer to you are saying may be true. But I've never hidden my biases. I can't hide my biases. My bias is historic. It's all over my social media. But it is because of what she stands for. If she did not stand for good, if she did not stand for a greater positive impact on Jamaican society, I would not be in her corner. If she did not stand for positive social change, I would not be in her corner at all. And should the day come where she's no longer about that, me gone. But likewise, I can also see the ones who are not for that, who are for selfish gain, whose intentions is to tear down one to build up themselves, but not pull up their brothers and sisters in the meantime. That is what I see. Corrupted influences who twist the truth, fabricate to malign characters. That is what I see. Too many YouTube videos, too much evidence out there of such for me to say it is not true. So when I see that, how am I going to then turn around and say, I am not on any side? I am not biased. When that does not sit well with my conscience, that doesn't sit well with who I am. It doesn't. So if I'm not for your behavior, I'm not for what you represent, of course I am not going to be on your side. But if you change, if you do something great, don't think I can't say it. I can say it. So at the end of the day, all I can say is that there is a lot of reason why people are going to walk away and say that you are fake. There is a lot of reason why people are going to walk away and say that they can't trust you, that you are hypocritical. And even some that are sitting there are going to think it, but not say it. And you may be thinking that there is no evidence of such, but there is lots. When you made that comment, have you ever heard you made a comment and I said, my goodness, Kay, don't rise to it. Don't rise to it, because I was tempted, you know. And any of my graduates would tell you, say, if I want thing Kay bad upon them something there, you know. I was going to go through historically your videos and pull out things that you say and things that you do things that you say, things that you do. And I was going to juxtapose it and create a whole video of it. And I said, Lord Jesus, no, okay, no do that. When you said, I am not hypocritical, I have never said anything about anybody. Have you ever heard any evidence out there of me saying terrible things about people? And I said, what? Are you serious? It shocked me because I couldn't understand it. Personally, I couldn't get it. And I said, I could show you, you know. I could show you. I could historically show you. I could evidence it and show you, you know. Worse, I have a week off next week. I have time. I could show you. And then I said, Cha, allow it, yeah. It's not that's not going to allow her to move on and to do better, is it? It's not going to be of any benefit other than to prove a point. And sometimes when we do things to prove a point, it's just about pride more than anything else. And I'm not into that, right? But I'm just going to talk based on what I've seen and based on what many people have seen. And you cannot blame anyone for thinking that your behavior is hypocritical. You cannot blame anyone. There's far too many incidences of such behavior. The whole cult argument, you forget. Hey boy. Well, happy Sunday, Rose. Happy Sunday. We all know better. That's it, Chris, right? She's don't stand for no good case. She's real, true hypocrite. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say that, you know, Rowena. I'm gonna say that I would not necessarily say that. Lady with the Alphabet has sometimes done some potent lives where the information that she's given will help people. I am not saying that she does not bring added value. I'm saying there is a side of her that keeps coming out that shows one thing. She mix too much, too mixy. Mix less is all we are saying. Mix less. There is really no reason to. There's no reason, there's no cause, there's no justification other than maybe you have too much time on your hands. Because I don't get it. I certainly don't have no time to be constantly on phone with nobody. Sometimes some of my good friend, them cost me. Say, okay, you wouldn't even pick up the phone and call me. Because I'm so busy. Look at even my graduates who cuss all the time and say, you're really not coming live again tonight. A teacher came and said, no, I can't do it. Because I got other stuff to do. My whole life is full. Much less to be carousing on phone with bloggers and platform holders. Are you okay? No, sir. The way she can curse. That is it. St. Thomas things, you know? I don't think there's anything wrong with being yourself. I know that sometimes social media will try to make you into who you're not. Like when I came out the other day and my head did cheap. And the whole of my graduates, them start message me and say, okay, we don't want to see you mad like that again. No do it again. No lose your head again. No do it. Because they see me as a voice of conscience, right? It does not mean, and no matter how much I tell my graduates that my temper is terrible, I try not to lose my temper, try not to get angry. I tell them I am not a goody two shoes. I tell them, do not put me on a pedestal. I am no example when it comes to temper. I have said it, but they don't want to see that. But at least I have told you. You can't say I didn't tell you. So I'm not going to come out here and pretend that I am some kind of straight-laced person who can't chip too bad word. I can't do it. Right? When I'm amongst my friends in the physical world, when we're talking, you think we're fighting. We swear a lot. But not in anger at each other. just how we express ourselves. But at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with your intellectual capacity and whether or not you're capable of doing otherwise. You are capable of doing otherwise. But when you're in relaxed form, you can be whoever you want to be. Sometimes social media packages you in a way that is not necessarily your true self. But what will remain constant? What will remain constant is certain moralities and ethics. Certain moralities and ethics about you will never change. If you are a decent human being, that will come through in everything you do. If you are honest, it will come through in everything that you do. If you are trustworthy, it will come through in everything that you do. It will not waver. Right? One thing with Head Teacher K, if I promise you that I'm going to do something for you, you best believe I'm doing it. I have a huge thing about broken promises. Right? A huge thing about broken promises. And because of that, I grew up saying to myself that if I promise somebody something, I will never break that promise. I must fulfill it. That's one of my quirks. And it has worked for me in the work world because people know that if they give Kay a job, it's going to get done because I've agreed to do it. What I am also not is I am not a fencer. If I like you, I like you, and you will know it. If I don't like you, I will avoid you. Likewise, if I don't trust you, I will avoid you. Because then there is no question about the kind of person that I am. Where do you stand does not necessarily mean that you have to join a gang or a clique or a group. It doesn't. It shows what your morals and your standards are about. It shows where your morals and ethics are aligned. It's not about choosing sides when it comes to human beings. It's about what do you represent? What do you stand for? It's like when you have a child. If you have a child and that child is not sure if it's right or wrong and they do something, they make a mistake and you look at them and you go, oh, never mind, try again. That very voice means they don't know if they were supposed to make the mistake or not because you sound nice. You're being all gentle about it. You're not giving them a yes or a no. So them think it's all right for go and do the same thing again and they're going to get the same nice voice. Whereas if you look at them and say, no, don't do that. That's not acceptable. That's a clear boundary. And that voice, that tone becomes a trigger. And they recognize that when they hear that voice and hear that tone, mommy or daddy is not happy. So they will correct their behavior or they will recognize that that behavior is not going to give them that nice, soft voice. But when you are handling people whose behavior is downright disrespectful, and you're sounding like you are mollycoddling them, like you are, going, oh, I told you, or you say, come off on my phone with a dirty bad word, them are me going hang up on you. You will see the difference. They will understand themselves. Clear boundaries. You can't try to appease everybody and be friends with everybody. It doesn't work. You can't be friends with everybody. You can't mix with everybody. You cannot. Because not everybody will have the same standards, the same principles in life as you. They won't all have that. And some of your principles and standards will clash. And this has nothing to do with their their educational background. This has nothing to do with their life experiences or whatever, you know, where they live, or nothing to do with poverty levels or anything to do with that. It has to do with who they are on the inside and whether or not that sits well with your soul. Anyway, my people, let me take a look at some of the comments. I've spent enough time with you. You know how it is. Head teacher K come out, she said what she have to say, and she done as she move on. I always tell them I'm not ordained. That's true. Exactly. We are no pastors and nuns, right? It's true. Yesterday I sat there feeling so disappointed in her. Yep, I understand that. Greetings all. I'm never able to catch a live. I'm so sorry, Shirley, and we're about to go. I thought I was the only one who noticed a little change in Urain. I said the same thing. He's becoming more comfortable, and that's okay. Isn't it wonderful? That live that he did yesterday, it was so good. I had to comment. It was so good, where he spoke about his fellow students that received the donations that go to law school. And he spoke about how the people were behaving in the live and in the comments. It was so personal. He was relaxed. You heard him dip between patois and standard English. Him never feel like he happy talk with the hot potato in his mouth for the whole time. Him showing us him can be, you know, chilled, him normal, down to earth self, and then his professional YouTube face. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. And that's all about growth and development. And like I said, people should not be afraid to show their imperfections and own them. This is a thing. This is a difference. If you own your imperfections, nobody can say that you didn't say that you were imperfect. Like the way Lady with the Alphabet came out and tackled the fact that she had been with a married man. She dealt with it. She made it clear that this is not something that she was proud of, that she did it and it was a mistake and it can be looked at in any other way, right? So by owning that, how else are they going to use it against her? They can't use it against her anymore. Okay, don't say. You understand? It don't say already. Her best friend came on social media this morning and advised her to stop calling so-and-so on her live. I was happy she came out and told her. Very good, Caroline. And that is brilliant. That's what our best friend is supposed to do. Tell her the truth. It doesn't look good. It doesn't work. You understand? What do you stand for? I stand for truth, righteousness, good over evil. That is what I stand for, right? That is what I stand for. I don't stand for anything else, right? And I also stand for togetherness with like-minded people. I want to bring together a platform where people are free to think through things, to listen to alternate perspectives, to not feel as though they have to be in a box with how they think, that they're willing to take on knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That is what I stand for. And at the end of the day, I believe that I have found that on my platform, that my graduates are these kind of people that are willing to open their mind and think things through and don't just follow around like sheep. That is it, right? Her standard dropped to the lowest. It's such a shame. She devalued herself on social media. Well, on point, teacher. You couldn't have said it better. That wasn't asking you a question. I was just finishing it. What? No, your English grammar, my answer you. So there it's clear. My answer you. Fair enough. Anyway, guys, I want you guys to have a blessed evening, right? And while you're out there on these social media streets, just understand how things, can impact on your brand, particularly if you're a social media platform holder. Think carefully about how you represent yourself. Sometimes we let ourselves down, and that's a fact because we're human. But at the end of the day, there is nothing to say you can't repair that and you can't bounce back from it. Lady with the Alphabet, I am not here to tear you down, right? But when I see these things, I cannot help but come out and speak about it because I think that you need to hear it from different angles. And I do hope that you take on board some of the things that even your friend is calling you and telling you, because she wants the best for you. And I think that there are different ways that you can handle your diplomacy and that you can handle your neutrality so that it doesn't bring into question who you are and your own integrity. Right? Anyway, guys, bye-bye. Have yourselves a good evening. Big up on a nice, clean self. This is your girl at Teacher K. I'm out.